So there's going to be 3 parts to notes today. First, we did the first pre-introduction on the gold paper. Second part, we have a day 2 introduction, just reviewing some basic radical skills. Hopefully review of Algebra 1. So we're just going to quickly run through this, and at any time you need to, you can pause the video and go back since you have it on your Chromebook. So first, here we have 6 times radical 5. That would just be 6 radical 5. Okay, B is the same way, so 8 radical 2. And then here it's just switched around, so you would put the 3 in the front and have 3 radical 7 and 9 radical 5. Okay. In E, you need to multiply the outside together. So the outside of the radical would be 6 and 2. So that would be 12. And on the inside would be 5 times 3, which is 15. Okay. And then again, 5 times 4 is 20. And then on the inside, 3 times 2 is 6. We have 3 times 7 is 21. And then 2 times 11 is 22. H, 21. And then 2 times 11, 22. Okay, obviously it's the same thing. For I, very similar. We do 4 times 3 is 12. And then 5 times 5 is 25. But you hopefully know that the square root of 25 is 5. So this breaks down to 12. This is replaced with a 5. So 12 times 5 is 60. So then we have 2 times 4 is 8. 9 times 9 is 81. The square root of 81 is 9. So 8 times 9 is 72. Okay, and K, this is considered a 1. So 1 times 2 is 2. 6 times 6 is 36. The square root of 36 is 6. So you have 2 times 6. 12. Okay, and then the same thing here. So that's a 1. 1 times 2, 2. This is 4 times 4 is 16. The square root of 16 is 4. This makes 8. Okay, in the next part here, simplifying radicals to the lowest terms. So if you see the top and the bottom are reducible by the same number, reduce them. Don't touch anything inside the radical at this point. So 14 and 2 are divisible by 2. This could be 7 and 1. So you could rewrite it as 7 radical 5 over 1, but you'll never ever see the 1. So I would just leave it 7 radical 5. And then the rest are the same idea. This is probably a good one to do. 21 and 9 are divisible by 3. So 9 divided by 3 is 3. 21 divided by 3 is 7. So you have 7 radical 11 over 3. And that is your answer. If you want to try C, go for it and then check it online. Okay, this one, a little more work involved. So we look at the radical 18, and we should be able to do a factor tree to simplify that radical, like we did in the last unit. So 18 breaks down to 2 and 9. You could still use 3 and 6 and get the same answer. We take all the ends of our branches and write them out. And this is our pair. So radical 18 would break down to 3 radical 2. Our pair on the outside, our leftover on the inside. But we still need to bring down our 4 and our 3. Okay, so now we can do 4 times 3 is 12 over 3. And we know that this can reduce just like up here. So this would be 1 and 4. So 4 radical 2. Okay, let's do one more. So the square root of 40 can break down to 4 and 10. Okay, our branches here are even. So we've got one pair of 2's. And our leftovers, we multiply, we get 10. And then our other 2 comes down. And our 8. All right, so now we can take 2 times 2 and get 4. Now we can reduce the 4 and the 8. I know the 10 is also divisible by 2, but it's inside the radical, so you cannot touch it. So 4 and 8, we can reduce that by 4. So we would have 1 radical 10 over 2. You really don't need this 1. So in my final answer, I would not have the 1 there. Okay. See, you could do and check with the answer key online to make sure you've done it correctly. Okay. On the back side, this is called rationalizing the denominator. We know that we have this square root of 2 in the denominator, and that is not allowed. You can't have an irrational number in the denominator. So what we do is we multiply the numerator and the denominator by that radical 2. So this would look like 8 radical 2. And then the square root of 2 times the square root of 2 is the square root of 4. This denominator will always be a perfect square. So you'll have 8 radical 2, and the square root of 4 is 2. But you also know that if these numbers are divisible by a number, reduce them. So 8 divided by 2 is 4, and 2 divided by 2 is 1. So my final answer is 4 radical 2. Let's do it one more time. So in part B, we have a square root of 5. Can't have the irrational number. So I'm going to multiply by square root of 5. 20 times the square root of 5. And 5 times 5, 25. This becomes 5. This reduces to 4. And we would have 4 radical 5. You could try C, check it online. Okay, last part, we're going to solve equations. So in this case, this is saying square root of 4 times D. Well, if you are multiplying, the opposite of multiplying we know is to divide. So I'm going to divide by the square root of 4. This would cancel. So this is what I would have. We could put equals D. I'm just going to do it on this side. All right, we know the square root of 4 is 2. And 18 divided by 2 is 9. Okay, so here, same idea. Divide by the square root of 9. And we would have 12 over square root of 9 equals 12 over 3, which is 4. Okay, the last type, we divide by the square root of 3. And we know that we cannot have this irrational number down here. This is not a perfect square. So we must do this that we just learned. So our answer looks like this. But we need to multiply by radical 3. That would be 8 radical 3. And that would be 9. But the square root of 9 is 3. I check. These are not divisible by anything but 1. So this is my answer. Okay, we're at 9 minutes and almost 30 seconds. So I'm going to go ahead and have you guys do this on your own and check online and be ready for the actual day 2 notes next.